Hi, this is Mark Laughlin speaking for the Ambidextral Gunfighter. Which is most likely to save your life or the life of a loved one? A firearm or a trauma kit? In many of my videos, I've talked about opportunity cost of loadout choices by weight and by bulk, opportunity cost of dollar allocations, opportunity cost, do you carry an extra magazine or an extra tourniquet in your med kit? I think a stop the bleed trauma kit is more likely to save a life than your firearm, whether from backcountry injury, vehicular crash, cardiac events, or workplace injuries. A well-equipped trauma kit and the basic knowledge to leverage it is far more likely to save your life than is a firearm to defend it. Traffic accidents. Over a lifetime, I've been at the scene of 3 accidents with trauma victims to attend to. One case, the EMTs were 45 minutes away. However, I've never been at a gunfight, although I have been at 3 incidents where my firearm was at hand. So let's not say the firearm is useless, but definitely give the individual first aid kit or med kit some focus. Now think of your children running, biking, falling, lacerations. This, for me, is the most terrifying. It's one thing to calmly deal with strangers at the scene of a car crash. Imagine it's your child's femoral artery that's bleeding out. I remember one of my boys crashing his toddler-size specialized mountain bike. I was spotted his bike cartwheeling down the trail, and that alone was enough to get heart rate way up there. When I got on the scene, he was sitting there with blood running down his face, filling his eyes. At the time, I carried a very minimalist first aid kit, basically a few gauze bandages. And although he wasn't crying, I could see that he was on the edge, so I engaged him in some self-help. I pressed a gauze pad on the scalp wound that was just below the brow of his helmet and asked him to hold it in place while I attended to the cut on his arm. And then there's hiking and camping in the backcountry. My own stupid drunk camping injury. After a day of hydrating with PBR in the dry, high mountain elevations near Flaming Gorge, the evening chill motivated us to gather some firewood. I grabbed my folding pruning saw and went to work on a hardwood log. With a little less than optimal foresight, I concluded that the pruning saw needed a little bit of committed downward pressure. And I used my offhand to put that pressure on the back side of the blade, and I didn't even get one stroke when my left hand slid down the saw's backside, creating a nice, painless, but deep laceration in my palm. Fortunately, it wasn't an arterial bleed, and we had some rolls of gauze in the car's first aid kit. Mountain biking, where I very nearly lost a jousting match with a pointy branch from a pine tree that stabbed through my shirt and just caught the edge of my abdomen. It was just sheer luck that it wasn't a center hit requiring one of those chest seals. That is, if I were stupid enough to pull the branch out. For mountain biking, I routinely use the Hill People Runner's Kit bag to carry a lightweight pistol, some gauze pads, and a tourniquet. And because of my old, youthful motocross eye, I've destroyed a few helmets and had a few other near medical emergencies while mountain biking. I often say that mountain biking is safer than motocross, except for the part where protective gear is limited. I'm often alone, and I'm distant from medical facilities and far beyond phone service. Frankly, firearms are fun and a pleasure to ponder and are just tacticool. Trauma kits and some knowledge as to their use is just not very exciting, but they are far more likely to prevent a tragedy than your firearm. But here I am, the hypocrite. I've attended quite a few firearms instruction classes, but the only in-person first aid classes I've been to were employer delivered. I've produced several hundred Ambidextral Gunfighter gun videos, and yet this is my first aid video. Sadly, I'm betting I'm not alone, as I do suspect that this video will probably not get near the traffic that my gun videos earn. Hopefully I'm mistaken. Thankfully, Mountain Man Medical offers an excellent online emergency trauma course, linked down in the description. There is no reason for any gunfighter, any instructor, any parent to not complete this course unless you are already a doctor or EMT. Hopefully some imaginings of your spouse or kids injured and bleeding out will spur you to remedy any out of balance priorities between your firearms and trauma care. Let's start looking also at something that you can carry every day, everywhere you go. Here we have the Mountain Man Medical Yellowstone Trauma Kit, Emergency Trauma Kit. Now, compared to my home brewed kits, based upon the Max Expedition Mini Pocket Organizer or the slightly larger Maxpedition EDC Pocket Organizer, the Yellowstone is bulkier and not quite as well suited for belt carry, but probably the kit I will carry when heading deep into the Bighorn Mountains beyond cell service, or will attach to my Everly Stock Mini Me backpack when hiking into the backcountry. Or I will get one of the Hill People's Runner's Kit chest bags that has MOLLE on it and attach it with the MOLLE straps here on the back. Now, for the contents of this package, we have our standard typical trauma shears. I actually like to replace those with these cleaver cutters. Just feel for mountain biking where I might fall on this, I like not having sharp objects in my pouch, and it also takes up a little less space, a little more compact. This does include a quick clot and also a trauma dressing. It has two pairs of latex gloves and a little indelible marker. We got a wound wrap, elastic bandage, and then also here we have the chest seals. Comes with 2 chest seals, and then the SWAT T tourniquet. I do prefer the SWAT T because they're so compact and lightweight, but if I were outfitting a combat kit, I would go for the cat tourniquet for the ease of self-application. There's also a couple of rows of gauze here. I actually have decided that rather than keeping this elastic bandage there, I'll keep it there on top right there, just loose, so that thins up the pack just a little bit. Now, I also like to carry an emergency blanket, so we'll stuff these in here in one of these pockets, so that if you're caught out into the woods, and also for during trauma care, you need to make sure the victim does not become hypothermic. Now, as far as for like mountain bike use for like a belt, a first aid kit or emergency trauma kit that's worn on your belt, I think something kind of similar to what I've got here with the my little Maxpedition pouch here makes better sense. And the Mountain Man equivalent of that would be the Tracker, which is very similarly sized. And just to show what we have here in this my little kit, which is very similar to the Tracker kit, I've got a gauze packing gauze roll here, and then also got the SWAT T tourniquet, and then also like to carry the emergency blanket as well. In my slightly larger pack, it's basically the same contents, and it also can be worn easily on the belt. And I've thinned these two out, and this one I've got a pouch to hold my phone, so my phone can slide in there and not be damaged. But also I'm carrying a quick clot, and then an emergency blanket, and then also have a backside pouch here to store a firearm, in this case a Ruger LCP, very, very compact, lightweight centerfire pistol. Something else I like to add to the Yellowstone kit is maybe throw, once these, I've used up these latex gloves, I probably won't re-add those in there, but maybe throw just a few Band-Aids in there just for, you know, convenience sake. Anyway, this is the Mountain Man Yellowstone Emergency Trauma Kit. Comes with both of these patches. I'll probably remove this patch just to save myself, you know, this is their logo. Remove that to save myself just a little bit of weight, and just stick with the Red Cross patch on here. And but anyway, please start first with completing the Mountain Man Medical Emergency Trauma course. Link in the description. Complete that course, then imagine your spouse or child bleeding out. Do you have the equipment to deal with it? I recommend the Tracker Kit as a daily carry, and then for your vehicle or home use, get the Yellowstone Kit or the Wind River Kit or the Base Camp Kit. Again, links down in the description. Don't risk living with the most weighty regret of having failed your family. Put down your pew-pew for just a bit and get familiar with those tourniquets. It's Mark Laughlin speaking for the Ambidextral Gunfighter. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.